Bang.
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 We are recording.
Let's go.
Let's do it,
boy
bro.
number one.
Number 2 here.
Yo, so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Way In. The title of today's episode is Veil of Secrecy, Life or Death Skill Set.
Take me on this trip.
Yo, so Veil of Secrecy. So, everybody's too public these days. There's too much exposure. Like, everybody's just willingly giving away all their information online.
Now they can't stop it. They're falling over each other giving it away now.
Yeah.
It's actually now a problem.
It's detrimental. And so being March 8th, 2020, it's been a big year. We lost Kobe. It's just been Harvey Weinstein got convicted. It's been a crazy year. But
COVID-19 crap and all that shit going on.
Yeah, that. We lost the rapper Pop Smoke. Now, I was never into his music too much. I didn't even know who he was pretty much till after he passed away. Got into a little bit of his tracks. He had a 50 Cent sound. But a young dude, 20 years old. Home invasion. Home invasion, he was murdered. It's crazy. And these young rappers, these young guys, and just the younger people in general, they're too free with their information. They're putting their address, they're putting the locations that they're at out here on, a lot of the social platforms. And the problem is that everybody or anybody can see it. You can't track and see who can see what you just put out there, but it's now information for anybody.
Sure.
And if it's somebody that's, that has ill will or ill thoughts towards you, there's no way for you to know if something's coming. So, you got to be a lot smarter online. You're leaving these digital footprints is not good.
Well, there's a lot of things also connected to that, too, that people who are young need to keep in mind. And this is nothing about young bashing, just common sense stuff.
No,
I mean, he was a young male, 20 years old, still very young and naive in many ways.
Yeah.
Got himself a lot of buku green.
Exploiting.
Nice got the bling going crazy. Probably talking some smack in the videos, pissing off people he might have gone to high school with.
Yeah.
And then he's bragging probably, I don't know all his lyrics, but I mean, and then there's always going to be the thuggery out there that's a little older, 25, 30 years old. They're from the older generation of maybe hip-hop or something.
A little bit tougher.
Around the edges.
Hungrier.
And what criminals do, they do pretty good. It's just basically criminal things.
It's like the Wolverine shit, I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is not nice.
And this is another fine example. And there's literally hundreds of examples that we don't even hear about that don't even make the news. This goes on a lot, but this fella here was the biggest example of it recently.
Yeah, it's huge, and you want to think in your mind, could this have been avoided if he wasn't just so exposed on social media?
Yeah, it probably would have been, because it would have been harder for people to find him.
Yeah, not just you can't be comfortable on the internet, people. The internet is not the safe place that it was maybe when the inception 15, 20 years ago. Like, the internet, the criminals are on the internet. The bad people are on the internet. When you give somebody this type of information, when you expose yourself like this, you're going to run into problems.
Well, look how many other female musicians, white and black,
Kim Kardashian.
They
some
got
girls
robbed. They got robbed. And it goes on a lot. There's been people who've been, movie stars have suffered the same way. It's the thing is, along with the freedom and this wild, wild west that you have of the internet, there also there's reasons behind it why it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because it was just like the wild, wild west. You had to be reserved or you're going to get shot. If you were the guy boasting in the courthouse or in the pool hall playing cards, the guy that you just took his money from is going to follow you home and get you.
He's going to pull his iron out. Bang.
Boom.
Take his money back, take your money, take whatever else he can get right out, before the sun, rises. Sheriff just got a dead man on the ground.
Yeah, and it goes on a lot. And we're probably going to hear even more before then.
Arguably, that mentality is not going anywhere.
No, it's not going to change.
These guys that come up this way, that come up in this environment with this mindset, they're not about to change.
Sure.
They're too, they're hard-headed. Like the cranium, they got the scabs on the mind already, scabs on the brain. So, they're already, they're already set in their ways. They're not changing. that means you have to move a little bit different.
Well, hopefully these young kids today will start thinking about it a little bit. I mean, a lot of like the old-fashioned punk rock scene, where a lot of that kind of music came out like self-distributed, self-published.
Okay.
I'm still assuming that there's a boatload of hip hop that comes out that's pretty hardcore and pretty violent that doesn't even get proper distribution.
No.
So, I mean, the first generation, or the big generation with Tupac's and all those different guys that, suffered.
Really, suffered, but took the game to another level.
But they were harsh, they were tough, they were all tough guys. And then hip-hop kind of the more popular hip-hop mellowed a little bit.
Yes.
But the underlying level of the intense stuff, the more vicious stuff, is still out there.
Yeah.
Do you know if this young fella actually spoke a lot about, other people that he might have known? Did he call people out?
I wasn't that deep into his music, and these days with hip hop and rap being such a lyrical driven sport, with the culture, it could have been subliminals that almost nobody would have knew except the person that Pop might have been talking to. So if he's spitting something at somebody and he says something, he brought up a street or he brought up a situation that nobody would think twice about.
Right.
But the one person who may hear it on the radio and be like, oh shit, he calling me out on that shit. He want that war. You never know.
Was he televising a lot of his stuff he was doing? Was he hanging with a lot of girls and in a lot of parties? And
they all do. He was.
There definitely was something that transpired.
It's part of the culture. It's what they all do. It's like, it's not, the footage is not 100%, so you don't see everybody he's interacting with. So you just never know who got into his life and kind of, it's now symbiotically attached now, and that person could have been, looking at whatever, and trying to, and plotting on whatever.
Well, can you think of any other examples of things that are happening when secrecy is becoming a problem? Not necessarily in the music world, but I think it's happening. Well, we know that it happens with a lot of people's security aspects.
Not even jumping right into security, but just thinking about regular Facebook, Instagram, which I've never been on either platform as of yet, but Well,
you do Twitter stuff. I mean,
I do Twitter.
You're pretty
Twitter,
safe. You're pretty comfortable how you handle that, right?
I'm good with that. But Instagram, Facebook, as of like right now, March 8th, 2020, I've never had an Instagram or Facebook. That's more personal. They're seeing more of you, where you at.
Yeah,
you get
it is wild.
Everything. Even with my Snapchat, it's only the people that I know, so I know who's getting the information because I only send shit out to my friends. But to me, I would be more cautious about just everybody getting it. Everybody knowing where I'm at. Somebody watching all the videos, compiling data. Oh, I don't want any of these conversations getting started.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I'm just a low-level guy who works his job, does a podcast and shit. These big-time celebrities, these big-time, NFL sports, all of these people, these are the people who need to be worried, but they're just freely out on these platforms doing whatever, and I just think it's not the right move. You need to go back to that veil of secrecy. People don't need to know. Mystery builds, curiosity. It's not reverse.
No, it doesn't go in reverse at all. I know a lot of these people have managers and they have their people who look out for them and stuff. But it'd be nice if like maybe they could actually find a way to let them know like this is what you should or shouldn't do. But I just think everybody's just running kind of a little bit wild and just having a good time. They think they're invulnerable. The
management, the labels, the companies, the management.
They want them to show off.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They want them to show off.
Yeah, because that's all the exposure.
The rapper Jadakiss said a long time ago that dead rappers get better promotion. It's true. Dead people get better promotion. Anniversaries. Because the pain of losing somebody is just so deep. It hooks in so deep that every 5 years you can make money off this. If we want to be critical and real about it.
Have you run into some problems like this yourself at all? Not like to the full extent of what we're talking about.
In the times where I'm just free socially and given of information and who I am, that down the road, things just automatically get harder. When I keep things close to the vest, because if you keep something close to the vest, that means that people that's in your inner circle are automatically vetted. You've went through their credentials. You went through their references. Is this a good dude? He good? Okay. You've seen the outside looking in, and then you've made the decision in your mind to say, hey, this is a person I can be around. It's the people that I don't know that can come in, that's been doing whatever, that I haven't vetted, that I don't know their day to day, is the scary part. It's like It's like the coronavirus. You know, like it's an outside entity that can get in that's foreign that we don't know how to combat. We don't know how to, like, index off. It can get anywhere and it can cause any type of damage. That's how I feel with somebody that I don't know. So anybody that's with me, you can know they've already been vetted out. So if you know me, you know that person. That allows me to get a lot of people to come in and engage with.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, but in the same breath of air, what I was going to say was, like, I've actually done the same thing also along the way. And within the last 10 years or so on the internet,
spit that shit.
Doing all that stuff is, I've done the same thing. I've vetted out some people, but what ends up happening is I'm dealing with a different age level type of set of people.
Okay.
It could range from teenagers up to 20s and their 30s, and even, obviously, even older.
That's why you need that Gatling gun.
Well, yeah, because what ends up happening is a lot of times you start to realize a lot of people don't have enough slice of life or life experiences, let's call it that.
Yeah.
And they have a tendency to take everything too personal, and everybody lives on a soapbox, and everybody has got a voice. And hey, that's what it's all about, because that's why it's social.
Yeah.
But again, just like other things that happen in life, things do explode, and people can't handle with parody or comical comments in certain situations. So I've run into some bullshit along the way because
people
of that.
Get a little bit too defensive.
Yeah. I mean, nothing related to obviously violence per se, but people just get a different set of beer muscles, as we used to call it.
And this is just from viewing what you're doing.
Correct. And what I do is this is back like in the early 2000s when I ran into some problems, and along the way, I think we actually talked about it in an episode, Learning from Your Enemies.
Okay.
I talked a little bit about that also, where you have to sort of like deal with it and cut the stuff out of the picture, because you're not going to get anywhere arguing and constantly pushing that narrative.
I got to go back to that episode tonight.
Right, because and you have to be surrounded by people who you can work with, and you, as we call it, vetted.
Yes.
But you got to be careful, because even somebody that's vetted can sometimes be a snake in the grass.
That's true, Cobra Commander.
That's right. And they're gonna put a couple little puncture holes on your ankle someday when you're least expect it.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause a lot of problems down the line if you don't get it taken care of.
Yeah. No. So I agree.
So again, and it wasn't related to secrecy per se, but it was sort of like the openness of the internet made it seem like you didn't have to have secrecy.
Yeah.
You get a lot of backstabbers, you know?
Yeah, but you never know. And, like, the pioneers are the first people who ventured out on the net and started getting social. Like, they're all the pioneers, because they're the first people who got fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the first people who went through every little thing. They're the first people who got scammed.
Yeah.
They're the first people who bought some bullshit into their house and died a horrible death.
Yeah, we got scammed by getting letters in the mail. It said you won $5,000, and you got to go to the post office, and you find out it was a scam.
Yeah,
it was a mail scam. Now it's a digital scam.
In that digital scam, it sinks its fucking claws in. It's one of those like Outriders from Avengers Endgame. This is fucking claws in. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, look,
the paper shit back in the day is like, okay, I go to a place. This is not me. You go about your life. The digital shit, it takes longer to fucking sift through the fucking wreckage.
Well, yeah, and the reason why you got to sift through the wreckage is because every one of the things that you have to do right now, because of this fast-changing world, is all based on the app and the streaming worlds and all that stuff. So everything you do, you have to sign up. What card do you want to use? Yeah. Like, I was trying to upgrade something on one of my Apple devices recently, and I'm just trying to get something done. Apple wants a fucking credit card. What do you mean you need a credit card? I don't buy records and music from you. What are you talking about?
Goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. So all of a sudden, that don't work. I can't find the right password. It's all this world of confusion. I don't know how young people deal with it. They must be having the same bullshit shit going on.
Yeah.
I know there's websites out there.
It's just... The younger you are, the more passwords you have. That's a fact. That's internet rule fucking 87. The younger you are, the more passwords you have.
Well, you heard about internet rule number 88? 88 is, now there's sites out there in the last couple of years that allow you to put centralize all your passwords on their streaming service, right? You're putting it on another app. So now you don't have to look at it. You know how it's just like, will you remember me? Click the button and remember when I go on there? Well, now they do it with all the apps. So all these kids, they don't have a regular computer-sized systems where they're saving all their passwords, you know? Or they don't have them in hard copies, right?
Fuck that.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
So I'm thinking their parents are saving their asses a lot.
You're not getting all my information in one area just so you can just rape. No.
Right.
Like, nah, you're not about to take everything.
But that's how Google, obviously I respect Google a lot, obviously, but that's how Facebook has all this data, and they sell this data off, and and this whole freaking bullshit about the foreign countries that got all the data. We're in a freaking shithouse of confusion in the next couple of years.
This is what think about whistleblower culture.
Oh yeah,
Snowden, all types of fucking crazy shit. People saying no. The people that you think that are in power are not really running things the way that you think that they're running. There's a veil of secrecy. Like, if the people at the highest peak have a veil of secrecy, why would you feel that you don't need one? That boggles my mind, as we say on the show.
Well, when you're young, you're less suspicious of things like the apps and the phones.
Yes.
Think about it. It's a small device.
It's part of your culture.
It's part of your culture, and you're not thinking in the big world, because your world it's only like what, 4 inches by 3.5 inches there.
Yeah.
And you're not realizing there's a bigger. Well, then they do know. I'm not saying nobody's dumb, but you get softened in your head a little bit about, like, it's all sort of a little easier to control.
Yeah.
It's not. It's even more harder to control.
Definitely. When you have to get into the tangible life, this shit is nothing. Anybody can do that shit. The phone shit, the real life, that's when it gets heavy.
I know. It gave them an excuse that they think they're dealing with the real life in a small phone way, but they're not really dealing with the real life.
That's an illusion. Like,
reality
that's a
is
facsimile.
It is.
That's ostensible. Like, you can't operate like that.
Not at all. You have to learn from physical aspirations in life and physical failures and everything related to the real world. But you got to take a punch. You actually got to get hit once in a while.
But the problem
you get scuffed up on the curb.
Here's the problem. Every time they feel any emotion, they want to share it. They forget that you need the secrecy. Sometimes you just need to hold that in.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't want to see another salad made out of spinach for a while.
Take a punch, go home, eat your dinner, and go to bed. Wake up the next day. You live the fight again. You want to post every part of the journey so we get to see it all. It's digitally recorded. I'm seeing your whole fucking life. You see my whole fucking life. We don't even have to hang out. We're in the fucking Matrix. That's crazy.
Holy shit. You're absolutely right. It's just like the Matrix.
It's just like the Matrix, right? Damn. We have to, maybe we'll do a part 2 to this, and we'll have to push that for the next day. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the weigh in.
The weigh in.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! The Henny Boys.
Over and out.
So before we launch into this episode, I just want to say this episode right now is unscripted. So you're getting our live emotions at the moment. So I don't know what can happen. I don't know what's going to come out. So we're just going to be honest and from the heart. And we don't want to offend or, denigrate anybody. But this is going to be honest, So
it's going to be powerful.
My very dear friend, is going to come in. He's going to introduce us.
Well, it's been a rough couple days, as you know. It's been a rough week, half a week or so, or actually it's almost a full week. And this just didn't start out of the blue. This has been simmering for quite a while. Look, America's been dealing with situations like this since the Civil War. The place has been simmering since the end of the event. As a nation, we tried to cover it up. We decided we weren't going to, take care of things at the end of that particular nationwide scrum it was. But it all backfired in the long run. And, and eventually the inevitable took place. It finally boiled over. Black people have been getting killed for quite a while, and it's been televised in this digital era, which makes it more pertinent than it's ever been. And, there we are.
Here we are.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, so on May 25th, a black man named George Floyd was murdered by, at the time, a Minnesota police officer.
Derek Chauvin.
So from that murder sparked riots, protests, looting, just devastation. So for anybody who hasn't seen the video, and I've personally seen the video, you seen the video?
I've seen it more than a few times. I've watched it, analyzed it from different cameras. There's 2 cameras, by the way.
It's horrific.
It is. It's the most powerful video I've ever seen.
So